Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast. The Manny Wilson podcast. The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast. You know, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like, you dislike, go ahead, shoot me a call, and we're going to play your take back on our voicemail line. That number is 219-413-9405. Now, look, man, the NBA playoffs is here. All right, we got some baseball stuff to cover, but more so the playoffs. This is a playoff push. That's just about done with, bro. We ain't even really seeing no playoff push no more. We got actual matchups that's happening, and one of the matchups that's been locked in for the first round of the NBA playoffs is the Dallas Mavericks versus the Los Angeles Clippers. And man, I'm anticipating this matchup big time right here. I love to see it. The Dallas Mavericks, they're currently 16-2 of their last 18 games. And the fun fact here is that in the past 5 years, whenever these two teams matched up, the Clippers are 2-0 against the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs. So that kind of sets it up for a lot of people to favorite the Clippers. But if you start believing stats like that, I'm here to break some bad news to you, bro, because the Dallas Mavericks is going to win this series. And I say this based on the fact that Luka Doncic finally has someone to help him close out games. That's guaranteed to help him close out games. He has a man by the name of Kyrie Irving who is going to show up and be able to be that second punch that he's needed for the past 2 years anytime they played the Clippers, or the past 4 years anytime Luka Doncic has went to the playoffs. Because you look at the stat like that, okay, yeah, it's been 5 years and the Clippers are 2-0 anytime they played the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs. Yeah, that stuff sounds real cute. It sounds fun. It sounds like, oh, the Clippers might have an edge. But, bro, when you really look into what was going on in those years, you kind of see like this stat is very, very deceiving, bro. Because when you look at 2020, going back a few years, this is the first year they matched up here. Luka Doncic, he took a stacked Clippers team to 6 games at 20 years old. This was his second year in the league, and he took this stacked Clippers team to 6 games by himself. There wasn't a single player on his team outside of Luka Doncic that averaged over 18 points that series. And yes, I know the Dallas Mavericks had Kristaps Porzingis, but Kristaps Porzingis played the first 3 games. Then guess what? He was injured game 4. He was injured game 5, and he was injured game 6. So that was no use when they had him. And then the year after that, in 2021, Luka went on to play another stacked Clippers team. This team was stacked to the top, had a great bench and all of that. Still Paul George and Kawhi. And the same thing happened. Not a single player outside of Luka Doncic averaged over 18 points that series. And this time they even had Kristaps Porzingis healthy. Luka averaged 30. He averaged 30 in both of those series at 20 and 21 years old against a stacked Clippers team. In 2021, they went to 7 games. So shame on the Clippers for even letting it go that far. He didn't have any help on that team. So even though Luka averaged 30 and still lost, here's why it's going to be different. Because this time, the Mavericks have a legitimate 1-2 punch with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic on this roster, bro. With Kyrie Irving playing off the ball, doing whatever he wants in the ISO game that he loves and that he's the best at when he's on the floor. And Luka Doncic is controlling the offense, being a distributor and getting other people involved, getting people open. Oh my gosh, this is a combination that's a match made in heaven because, boy, I'm telling you, it's going to be hard to stop Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving on the same team. It's like the 2016 Cavs all over again offensively because you got somebody who loves to pass and loves to get his teammates involved, who can score, meaning Luka Doncic, and you also got that boy who's a killer when he's on the island with a defender in Kyrie Irving. So you have a guaranteed bucket getter in Kyrie Irving who can score anytime and anywhere on the floor. and you have Luka Doncic, who is a hell of a creator and loves to pass the ball to his teammates. So that's tremendous right there. All that bully ball on Luka, we gonna double team him. We gonna make sure he has to pull it up from deep and get 50 points if they want to get a win. Nah, that ain't happening. That ain't happening this time, because with the Clippers, they find ways to lose, and outside of their few years where they beat the Dallas Mavericks, they haven't had any success in terms of, what you really want to accomplish in the playoffs. They made it out the first round. Woohoo. So much fun. So cool. Yeah, that's worth celebrating, right? No, because their past few playoff appearances, they haven't done anything. You look at the past few years of what they've done in the playoffs. 2023 first round exit after adding Russell Westbrook. They damn near got swept by the Phoenix Suns when they played them. They lost 4-1. Still had a stacked team. They missed Paul George for a second, but this is what I'm always talking about. Somebody on that team is always unavailable. 2022, they didn't even see the playoffs. They didn't have Kawhi Leonard a majority of the year, but they still ain't see the playoffs. That team should have been somewhat in the rankings for a playoff run. Or at least in the play-in, damn it, damn. 2021, that's when they played Luka Doncic. And he didn't have any help. The only time they seen some real competition in the playoffs is when that same year, 2021, they went all the way to the conference finals. But the round after the Dallas Mavericks, they played the Utah Jazz, bro. The dominant Utah Jazz. Like, the Utah Jazz was really kicking something that year. They wasn't doing nothing. They played the Suns, and they got smacked up by the Suns. So, I'm not proud of this Clippers team. They've never done anything that's got me hype about what they can do in the playoffs. Every time someone's either hurt, they're either playing bad or they're not playing at all. Or you got guys playing terrible if they are playing. So I just don't have faith in the Clippers, bro. And, it's a lot of inconsistencies that I've seen from them over the past few years, but maybe they'll show me something different. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But as far as the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks, I'm hoping to see those Dallas Mavericks go all the way, at least to the Western Conference Finals. I think it would be dope to see them go play Nikola Jokic in the Western Conference Finals. And I'll touch on that too, because we know who's going back. It's the Dallas, the Denver Nuggets. They're going back. They're going back to the finals. So it's just a matter of who's going to meet them in the conference finals, because it's not that many options in the West right now. All right, look, we got a side note here. Let's move it down, man. We're moving over to the WNBA just to switch gears a little bit. So the Indiana Fever, they're now set to play 36 of 40 regular season games on national television due to drafting Caitlin Clark at number 1. Now, it's only right that you put that woman on TV every chance you get, especially if you really want to help your ratings, because, man, she's got so much clout. She's got so many fans, the supporters, even enough haters to want to see her fail on the next level that are going to watch and tune in to see what she does. So, it's a smart move that they did that for the Indiana Fever, and it's a smart move from the WNBA all around. So, the only thing I got to say about this, though, is it's about to get pretty nasty over there in Indiana going to the WNBA. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston teaming up. It's going to be cool having them, that dynamic duo on the same team. And if folks, you don't know Aaliyah Boston, she played at South Carolina a couple years ago. I think it was actually last year. 2 years ago. And she won Rookie of the Year last year in the WNBA. She's a solid player. Can play the 3, 4, and 5 if you really wanted to. Very diverse, got some nice game on her. And then now you add a shooter like Caitlin Clark, who's going to help spread the floor and just add an extra layer to that offense on Indiana Fever. So, it's a nice mesh, but the thing I'm saying here is, this team looks good on paper and stuff, and it's going to be a great duo for the future. But boy, Caitlin Clark is about to get bullied in the WNBA. She's great. I'm not saying she's not going to have any success. We're going to see her have all kind of highlights and all of that. But bro, she is going to get bullied because every great player in the WNBA has been waiting for this moment to play on the big stage in front of millions and millions and millions of viewers. Bro, they are going to try to embarrass her as much as they can. Like, everybody's competitive on that stage. You're playing with the best of the best on that stage in the WNBA. So it's going to get physical. And I think that's probably going to be the biggest difference in terms of her adjusting to the WNBA, is because we know she can score from the outside, but all that going to the paint stuff, driving past your defender, oh, it's about to get physical. Every team you face got somebody that's 6'6" and above. And that's tall for women's basketball. That's tall. So not only is your bigs bigger and quicker and faster and going to be more aggressive when protecting the paint, the point guards and shooting guards is going to play a lot more defense. The talent is a lot more equivalent to the level of what we expect Caitlin Clark to be playing at. Because you got other guards in there that's about to be in kill mode, bro. Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, what's the other one? Chelsea Gray, she's an animal too. You got some dogs in the WNBA that's about to really try and give her the business. And how could I forget? Diana Taurasi hates that little girl. Diana Taurasi cannot stand Caitlin Clark. Oh my goodness. And it's probably no real hatred. Of course, I'm over exaggerating, but during the broadcast, with her and Sue Bird, they were talking and they were like, you know, who would you rather have, Paige Beckers or Caitlin Clark? Diana Taurasi said, Paige, give me Paige. No hesitation, no explanation needed. I'm like, damn, I'm like, that's crazy. No explanation needed. Not even gonna give a reason of why you choosing Paige. And I looked at it like, hey, it's just all fun and game. It's part of the mental game, and we know Diana Taurasi's a legend. I'm pretty sure she's the logo. She's the logo, I'm pretty sure, of the WNBA. She's a legend, bro. So it's about to be some showdowns going on, man. And all of these games are about to be on national television. So I'm loving this for the WNBA. And you know, they're about to bring a lot of the college crowd over to that league as well. So it's super exciting to me. And although the Indiana Fever may not have a lot of success this first year, I'm definitely banking on them to have some sort of success, you know, in the next 3 years at least, because you look at a lot of great draft picks and a lot of great players who were drafted out of college and then that's playing in the WNBA right now. They all, you know, are having somewhat success. Sabrina Ionescu was the latest name I threw out there. She was great when she was at Oregon, and last year she was just playing in the NBA or WNBA finals. So I say give it a few years. Fever, they had a horrible season last year. They ain't make the playoffs. They had the third worst record in the league, so it can't get no worse when you add somebody like Caitlin Clark. I'll put it that way. They just need a supporting cast to completely fill that roster and completely fill that team. But give them a couple years, give them like 3 or 4 years, and they're going to be straight. Maybe not even that long. So, but anyway, if you want to tap into the WNBA draft, that's going to be happening Monday, April 15th. Expect Caitlin Clark to go number 1. Expect Paige to get drafted top 5. Angel Reese as well. It's going to be a lot of great players in this draft class. And as I said last episode, this recruiting class of 2020 is definitely like taking women's basketball to a whole nother level. It's kind of crazy, and I love it because, you know, shedding a lot of light on it, and they're capitalizing of having that light shed upon them. So, you know, it's pretty dope. But anyway, look, if you heard a take that you agree with, you disagree with, you like, you dislike, go ahead, shoot me a call, 219-413-9405. We got some more stuff coming up in just a second, some MLB news, some more news in general. Also, too, a play-in matchup that you got to hear about. The Warriors and the Lakers. This is about to be crazy for the play-in. So we'll have all that stuff when we come right back in just a second. It's halftime. Let's do it. All right, let's get it. News for the run. News for me is that I'm over here crying because I just took a sip of pop. I should have sipped some water before I broke into the news, but it's all good. My eyes is watering right now if you looking at the camera and you watching this on YouTube, by the way. But that's why, because I just took a sip of some pop, and I'm not used to that. But it was strong. It hit hard. All right, but look, some news for the run here. The juice has expired. The legendary O.J. Simpson has died of cancer earlier today. O.J. Simpson was 76 years old, and this man is a living legend, bro. And, you know, I'm probably wrong for saying the juice is expired, but I thought it was kind of funny. But it's messed up. But I mean, he's a legend. OJ is a legend despite all the controversy that happened. This man still holds multiple NFL records that they refuse to show you on the broadcast because they don't want any parts of that name and that controversy anymore. But just look those records up. I promise you, this man is still holding down rushing records from his time of when he was playing in the NFL, and even college records as well. So this man, a living legend, and definitely in the sports world. But hey, don't come down on me too hard if for saying the juice is expired. It's all love, and I mean that in the most respectable way, that O.J. Simpson has passed away at age 76. Now, the NBA play-in tournament. We got a few games are set in stone. The Los Angeles Lakers, they're going to take on the Golden State Warriors, and the winner of this will go to play for the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Now, I'll have more on that later, but moving on to the MLB, the Cleveland Guardians have been hot lately. They haven't had much competition, but on their they're 8-1 of their last 9 games with a total record of 9-3 to start the season. Now, the Guardians, they're going to see their first test of competition in this next series against the Yankees starting Friday. It's going to be a great series. And then the Astros, they just got obliterated by the Kansas City Royals. It was a clean sweep as the Royals wrapped up last game of the series. 13-3, the Royals ended up winning. And it doesn't look like it's going to get any easier for the Houston Astros in this upcoming schedule. Now they got to play the Texans again, and then after the Texans, they will see the Atlanta Braves. And then as for the Kansas City Royals, they've been on a tear. This is their second straight sweep in a row as they swept the White Sox last week, and now they just swept the Astros. So next on, they're going to be preparing to take on the New York Mets. A couple upcoming series here. You got the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're going to be taking on the Phillies in a 4-game series starting today. The Dodgers, they're going to be taking on the Padres starting Friday. This is a 3-game series. The Tigers, they were supposed to start a new series against the Twins today, but the game was postponed. And the new start date will be Friday, and they'll play a doubleheader on Saturday, April 13th. And then as far as the Chicago Cubs, they will take on the Seattle Mariners in a 3-game series starting Friday. And as far as the MLB in total, I'm ready for the MLB season to go running in full effect, bro. Like right now, there's some teams that's playing very, very well, and that's because they haven't seen much competition, or the competition they faced isn't really doing anything, or even they got a lot of injuries right now. So I'm ready to see, stuff start to pick up in terms of being able to tell who's like that and who's not like that. Like, is you really like that or what? Like, you get what I'm saying? So I'm at the point where I'm ready to see, teams start looking nice and kind of putting a picture at that. Let's move to the deadline. Let's get to the All-Star break. Let's get ahead a little bit. But the Cubs, hey, let's talk Chicago Cubs, because I know we're getting ready for a new series and all that against the Mariners. All I'm gonna say right now, getting ready for this series in the Mariners, and even if you're listening to this and they're 1 or 2 games in, let's just hope that the inconsistency that we had against the Padres don't transfer over to the Mariners. Because that was unacceptable what we seen against the Padres, bro. Coming off, a great start like we've been having, this was sad to watch. And more particularly, I'm talking about the very first game where we set the tone of how we wanted to start the series. Was not good at all. We were up 8-0 on the Padres. I'm looking at the score. I'm like, okay, I'm checking it because I was actually recording. It was on a Monday. I was recording. I'm checking the score. I finished recording. I see the Cubs are up 8-0. I'm like, all right, bet. You know what? They got this game under control. It's the 6th inning, whatever. Bro, I wake up the next morning and the Cubs have lost the game. They blew an 8-0 lead. This was so disrespectful to all fans who like the Chicago Cubs, because they gave up 7 runs, 7 points in 1 inning alone. How can you allow something to happen like this? They had our pitcher in hell. That man was fighting for his life in that inning. It was an awful way to start the series, to blow a huge lead like that. We did pick it up in the second game, and we had Brown. I think Brown was pitching. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong about that, but whoever was pitching that day, they did a damn good job. And we had my man's hit a grand slam as well. It was solid that second game, but we ultimately lost the third as well, and it didn't look beautiful either. So I'm just hoping that we, fix the inconsistencies within the game that we showed last series. Like, we got to do better than that. And this is a series where we can be a lot better and show that we're still somewhat dominant against the Mariners. So, that's where I'm looking to fix this. But anyway, like I mentioned, bro, the Los Angeles Lakers will be taking on the Golden State Warriors in the play-in game. Now, this play-in game is happening sooner than you think. It's April 16th is when this is going to be happening. So it's a lot of hype about it. I'm super excited. And I think this game can go either way when I'm looking at the matchups. But above all, it's really hilarious that LeBron James and Steph Curry went from playing each other in the NBA Finals, winning a ring, to now they're playing each other for the 8th seed, bro. This is tragic. This is tragic. What the hell is going on with both of these teams, bro? You both suck right now. The Lakers, you suck, and the Golden State Warriors suck. This is why I haven't talked about you all season, because before I continue on, you need to know that your team is trash. And if you think you're the Warriors and you still got a dynasty going on, you are trash. Your team sucks right now. They're not even in a playoff position right now. They have to fight for survival at a 9th and 10th seed. This is a damn shame for both of these teams, and both of these teams going up against each other, led by stars of the league right now. It's a damn shame. But anyway, going to the actual game of who will win and who won't, I think the Lakers are going to win, based on the fact that they have a huge size advantage over the Golden State Warriors. They have a bigger depth, they have a larger bench supporting cast on the bench coming off. Like, I think they have an advantage in all of these things. And mainly the focus for me here is going to be the size advantage that the Lakers have. To grab rebounds, play defense, all of that, because they're very tall compared to the Warriors. And they're a lanky ass team, man. Like, all of the guys on this team have a great wingspan and good height. Like, Lakers' shortest person that you see on the floor is a 6'4" D'Angelo Russell playing the point guard. Everybody else is 6'5" and above. You look at Austin Reeves, Spencer Dinwiddie, Prince, Cam Reddish. All of these guys, these guards, these small forwards are above 6'5". They're going to be grabbing hella rebounds, and they're going to be playing hella defense. So, when I'm watching this game and I'm thinking about what's going to happen, the main focus here is obviously the Lakers. They got to grab boards. They got to play defense. And a lot of this is going to depend on the tone that AD and LeBron James set, because these guys, they got to be the stars that they are. And especially Anthony Davis has to show up, cannot be passive when playing in this game at all. LeBron cannot be passive when playing in this matchup, because when LeBron is playing passive, it shows. A lot of guys are kind of feeding off of his energy when he's on the floor, versus when he's in attack mode and he's going hard, you got everybody else kind of hyped up. It just helps the energy on the floor. So it's all going to start with Anthony Davis and LeBron James just playing good basketball and really not being passive and showing that the game is important for them. But if they come out relaxed and they come out playing lazy, horrible start, they might let the game go, because even though this Warriors team is undersized, if they come out shooting lights out like they've always done and like they've done the back half of this season, it's going to get scary, because it don't matter how many boards you get. You ain't going to be able to grab no defensive boards, because the shot going to be going through the hoop every time. It's not going to matter of what type of defense you're playing. If Steph Curry hits 11 threes that game, or if Klay Thompson is hitting his threes that game. So, the biggest difference here is really going to be if the Warriors make their shots, if LeBron and AD come out and play like the superstars they are, and ultimately, if the Lakers as a whole, the supporting cast, come out with a lot of energy and they play defense and they have good energy on the floor. If all of those things happen, I definitely see the Los Angeles Lakers taking this ball game and getting in at the 8th seed to go on to play on one of these other teams in the Western Conference. But ultimately, the switch gears, bro, it's not gonna matter because you got the Denver Nuggets, and they're about to go back to the NBA Finals. It's official. I know it's gonna happen. They're in that rhythm again, and they've been running like a well-oiled machine. Everybody in the West is shaky if you look at what they've been doing this year and even the back half of this season right now. I don't have faith in nobody else but the Denver Nuggets to actually take it. The Clippers, it's always something. That's just the wrong side of LA. I'm not worried about the Clippers at all. The Suns, they don't have any bench at all. KD and D-Book is nice, but they don't have guys to play when they sit down. Thunder, they little kids. We're not worried about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Those are some little 8th graders compared to guys playing varsity right now. I'm not worried about them. The Timberwolves, they're good, but they're not on the same level as the Denver Nuggets, especially without Karl Anthony Towns being hurt. He's not coming back, so that's their playoff run for the Timberwolves. The Mavericks, that's the dark horse right there. That's the dark horse. It's their chance to go on that playoff runs and get to the conference finals to play the Denver Nuggets. But other than that, Denver Nuggets, they are going to be playing the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. That Eastern Conference is watered down right now as well. The Celtics ain't got much competition over in the East either. So it's easy run for the Boston Celtics. And it would be a huge disappointment if they didn't capitalize and go all the way to the NBA Finals. Whether they win or lose the finals, they at least gotta go. They gotta go. Anyway, look, man, shoot me a call if you heard something you agree with, disagree with, like, or just want to share your thoughts on something. 219-413-9405. And, of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. Other than that, that's all I got for y'all today, man. I appreciate you kicking it with me, hanging with me. Send this to a cousin, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a niece, a nephew, a co-worker, and follow us on Instagram at The Run Podcast. You can follow my personal as well at I am Manny Wilson. The last note I'm going to leave y'all with today, man, I'm going to just say, persevere, bro. Persevere. Times you don't feel like doing it, just do it anyway. Just do it anyway. But you got to keep doing it. You got to keep building those reps. You got to keep at it with the consistency. And you got to just stay with it. Stay with it in times where you like, I don't want to do this shit no more. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of trying to get to my goals. Ain't nothing happening. Just remember to have fun with it. Try to have fun. Make the best of it. And you know, sometimes that brings back the joy of what you're seeking and brings back the joy of what you're doing, because a lot of times we get so focused on things being work, and whatever we're trying to accomplish turns into work, and we forget to have fun doing that. You know, it is at the end of the day a pleasure and a treat to be able to do things we love. So if you're working towards something and it's what you really, really want, just remember, bro, hey, give yourself some grace. Sometimes you got to step back, reevaluate, and just think about, how can I have fun again doing this thing that I put so much effort into, you know? All right, that's all I got, man. You know, this is stuff I tell myself sometimes. So it ain't like it's coming from a crazy random place. This is like a lot of different things that, you know, I tell myself throughout the time. And as I'm growing and you know, keep creating this content and all of that stuff, you know, banging out episode after episode, oh, this is what I'm telling myself. So I figure I might as well, you know, share the wealth of knowledge and you know, share the same type of motivation. If I can find it within myself to be motivated, or I can find it through a family member, relative, friend, anybody to be motivated, you know, hey, I might as well share that same wealth of knowledge. So, you know, I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Other than that, man, we'll be back Monday, and so on and so on and so on.